Hey everyone, Travis here in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Heroes World Championships Americas. Is that how it's pronounced? What is the full title of this event?
The Heroes of the Storm America's Championship.
There we go. And I'm here with Phan, who is a senior manager at Blizzard running things on the esports side. So we're on day two, kind of early on day two. What has the event been like for you guys so far?
The event has been amazing, just having all of the community here, the fans, the players. The matches that we're seeing are to be expected from some people, but at the same time, there's a lot of teams that have come from other regions that most people haven't been following. So you have Relics from Southeast Asia, and you have Furious Gaming from Latin America, and Team Immunity from Australia. So no one really knew how to expect how those teams were going to play. So that was really cool to see. It was great to see such a full crowd at 10 a.m. in Vegas, because there's so much to do in Vegas. So having people come out and cheer all of their favorite players on was awesome. It's been great.
Very cool. We were talking a little bit before the interview about just how kind of crazy it must be for you to have all these different titles. I was just at the StarCraft 2 reveal in LA, and you guys were having the WCS games out of Poland there. How hectic is it for you having this event and then obviously all these other titles that you have to cover as well?
It keeps things exciting. I love it. So this time of year right now is very busy for us because we're leading into BlizzCon, to the road of BlizzCon. And so all of our regions are trying to finalize their championship because they want to know, which team that they're going to send to represent their region. So September going into October is really busy. We have so many amazing matches that we need to play out even before BlizzCon. So with 4 of our franchises there and only 2 days of BlizzCon, we've extended the content to an opening week, so that you're going to see a lot of the matches take place a week before BlizzCon. That's the only way we can fit it all in, and then it boils it down to the most exciting matches at BlizzCon itself. So I love it. It keeps things keeps you on your toes, and it definitely makes it fun.
Kind of along those same lines, Heroes of the Storm is kind of the newest title to be added to the list. Where do you think it stands right now in comparison to your other titles in terms of an esport? Because I noticed that it's sometimes I've seen situations where you guys have had multiple esports kind of running next to each other at an event, but Heroes seems to kind of spin off on its own sometimes. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but yeah, how do you think it is? How do you think the game is standing right now compared to those others?
For all of our games, it's been really interesting to see the communities that develop around those games, and there are very specific communities that are unique from the other, and so there are, of course, some overlap as well. The StarCraft community is been around for a very long time. We have a Hearthstone community who has has a lot of new people brought into the genre, accessibility, making it a lot of fun. Heroes is a new type of genre for Blizzard as well, but with it including all of our franchises into one, I think that makes it even more special. So there's 20 years of Blizzard franchises all coming in together. So whether you're a Diablo player or a Warcraft player or a StarCraft player, you can find something to relate to and pick up a hero and play it in. So there's a lot of overlap in that sense. But at the same time, it's a new type of gameplay that we have. It's Team Brawler, which makes it very fun. And I think it stands uniquely on its own.
And just from even just a development standpoint of the esport itself, how happy are you guys with it, several months in? Because, I know it doesn't have maybe the viewership that we were seeing from some of the Hearthstone tournaments or the bigger StarCraft ones. So how satisfied are you guys so many months in after launch with sort of where it stands right now in terms of popularity and development, that kind of thing?
We're very excited with how everything is turning out so far. It is the first year for Heroes, launched earlier this year, and so we really wanted to make sure that we introduce an esports program that would crown, the top player. But at the same time, we also knew it's kind of our pilot year as well. The focus was to make sure the game was in a good place, it's really fun to play, and that the full player base is supported. But at the same time, esports is very organic, especially in Blizzard games. It kind of just grows on its own, whether you choose to do it or not. That's what's so great. We have partners already wanting to run tournaments. So what you see this year is just the beginning of what we're planning to do for Heroes. So we had just enough tournaments happening to get teams playing, so you can figure out which teams are going to become the best teams, and of course having them crown the World Championship at BlizzCon. But then next year we really want to expand on that and make it bigger.
Yeah, I know you guys tend to talk a lot about next year's plans at BlizzCon or even later in December, but how much of what is happening this year and sort of the success and the development informs your guys' plans for next year? Because I don't know kind of the timelines on when you start planning out for the next year's esports scene, because I know it used to be way back when people just kind of threw together esports tournaments, just a couple months out in advance, but now I know it happens a lot sooner. So how much of what is happening in the hero scene this year is informing what you guys are planning next year?
It does have an impact for sure. We always want to make sure we are doing what's best and what's right. We have our plans set out actually very early on, but our regions are also setting out their plans, and they have established what they want to do next year, from Korea to China to Taiwan and to Europe. And so we're right now, I think, in the process of making sure we're tying everything together very nicely and putting in a nice package on it. And so we're always open to the feedback that we get, and we've shared some of our ideas to the players that are here and the teams that are here, just to kind of get their thoughts so far. Just what is it that they like, even about this year as a whole. And it's great to hear the perspectives that everybody has, and it will just help reinforce the things that we want to do. And I think that, that's been very helpful.
As Heroes of the Storm continues to grow as an esport, I'm kind of reminded of the fact that at any developer, there's always a interesting relationship between the esports department and the people actually developing the game itself, the developers, because obviously the developers, their responsibility is to the entire fan base and the entire community, whereas you guys are looking at the people that are interested in the competitive side. So with that being said, what's that communication and dialogue like between them as you guys want to add more features into the game that are esports oriented and sort of flesh out that side of Heroes as it's still kind of early on the feature set for the esports and competitive side?
Yeah, our the relationships that we have with the development team is extremely close. We have teams on my team embedded with those teams, so we meet regularly with all of them. They keep us up to date with their plans in terms of the features they want to release, and usually ask for input as well. From how will you think it affect the esports scene? What do you think players will think, or teams will think, or partners will think? And so there's a constant open dialogue that's always happening with the development team. And then at the same time, we're also pushing needs to them as well. So as they are trying to cater towards all of the player base and all the different types, from casual to campaign to pro, we are the voice for the esports scene. So we are seeing what it is that is either in demand or needed, or what the community is doing that people are really pushing for, and we take that to the dev teams, and we're basically saying, no, this is the most important thing that we think esports should have. And so that gets integrated into the overall big picture of the development features, and it's great. It's a great relationship, and it's very close. We also do a lot of internal tournaments as well to have promote the competition within Blizzard. Yeah. So that's really fun too, getting all of our dev teams and our various teams playing against each other to see who's the best. Yeah.
I heard recently there was an Archon mode tournament with where you guys were matching Blizzard people up with pros. So with that being said, what kind of priorities do you guys have in terms of esports features for Heroes of the Storm right now?
We've been getting a lot of feedback, I think, as it relates to the UI, how we can make it much easier for people to watch. There are a lot of requests that aren't actually specific to esports itself, but more just on competitive gaming, and we've of course communicated that over, and the dev team it's actually very engaged. There's not a lot that we tell them that they don't already know. The development team is always reading Reddit and Twitter and wherever means that people are giving feedback on our forums, and the community team is also summarizing that, so they're usually very aware already. So there's a lot of changes that I think that they haven't planned just to improve competitive play as a whole, and then the things that we're focusing on are how can our esports programs, both on the amateur level, collegiate level, and the pro level, can be all tied in with the game.
Maybe you can help clarify something for me, because there's been a bit of a mixed message. Yesterday I interviewed Matt Cooper, and he mentioned that bans, I think, weren't really a priority, though I know that Dustin Browder yesterday tweeted that they were coming or something that they really wanted to do. So for you guys, bands being such a huge part of a game like this, when can we expect something like that? Is that coming?
Yeah, that's certainly Destin would be the best person to answer that question in terms of scheduling. I know they want to get it in. From the esports perspective, we do think it's important, and we find ways to integrate it in if it's not already built into the game itself. So you'll see here we have the double band system that we kind of do more manually, and that is how we get in the functions and the features, I guess, that we want from the esports perspective. But when it'll go into the game, I know it's on their radar. I don't know where in the priority ranking it is, but it is in there and it's planned for sure.
Similarly, I know that there's been some pros that have been talking about the fact that replays kind of break every patch right now. Do you guys as the esports team feel like that's a priority for a game like Heroes to have replays that kind of go back in time, or is that something that you guys think is less of a priority?
I think it depends on what you're ranking it against. There are a lot of esports, I think, requests and needs. I wouldn't say that it's not a priority. It's definitely beneficial, and I think nice to have for a lot of people. And people are used to that from StarCraft and Warcraft 3 as well. So I think that is something that the dev teams are aware of. And yeah, it's just depends on where it is in the ranking of things.
How about I saw on Reddit there was a post that was kind of like, hey guys, we'd love to see a sort of link or alert to the tournament in the clients, and I've seen this on StarCraft and other games that you guys have. So is that something you guys are looking at?
Yeah, it's something that we talk about. Can't share what plans we have, but it's certainly a feedback that we've heard. Yeah.
Fair enough. So other than that, just sort of wrapping up, what should we expect from, and maybe for the people that are watching this tournament but haven't really been as plugged into the Heroes of the Storm esports ecosystem, what should we expect coming into BlizzCon and at BlizzCon?
I think you can expect to see a lot of talented teams coming up. I think Heroes is a different type of game in the way that you watch. I mean, it is a team brawler. It's really fun to see how these teams are coordinating together to be able to achieve. And it's easy to watch. It's really fun to follow. And the stories that are coming out of it already are, this early on, are very exciting. So I know, everyone thinks it's Cloud9 and Temple Storm that's going to represent at BlizzCon. I'm trying to look.
We just saw Tempo Storm win.
Okay, so I'm like, let's see how they're doing. Yeah. So Tempo Storm just won, which means they have qualified into BlizzCon. The next match is Cognitive and Cloud9. I love the story of Tempo Storm and Cloud9 because Tempo Storm has just been dominating the North America scene. They've won every single monthly cup. They're winning a lot of the tournaments that are happening in general. And there's these rumors that they were not playing up to par, and so now they just won. And I just want to see how the rest of the world is going to play against Cloud9. They may be the best in North America, but how are they against the European teams, the Korean, Chinese, and Taiwan? So that's what you should be looking for, is some just new, exciting ways that teams are playing Heroes of the Storm. And it'll be good. It'll be fun.
I feel like my esports instincts are telling me that they might lose to the Koreans, but we'll have to see. That's kind of the theme, I think, of esports. So.
Well, Cloud9 played against one of the Korean teams at MSI at PAX, and yeah, they have some practicing that they need to do if they want to represent North America.
Very good. Well, hopefully they get that practice in. Thank you so much for the interview. Really appreciate it. Good to sit down with you. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of our Heroes of the Storm coverage at GameSpot.com.